Hi, Doug Capella here. I've been asked by some people, what is it I'm grateful for? And I've always felt like this was a really good question. And I'm grateful for a lot of things. First of all, I'm grateful that I'm alive. That may seem to be kind of an obvious thing, and maybe it was for me in years gone by. But earlier this year, I had major surgery, which was supposed to be fairly routine. And unfortunately, I came down with a terrible, terrible staph infection while I was in the hospital that very nearly killed me, not once but twice. And I was just very fortunate that I ran into somebody who introduced me to a product that, when modern medicine couldn't figure out how to handle my staph infection, this particular product got rid of it in a matter of 4 days. And it has stayed away now for close to 3 months. And I've seen it do it for other people as well as I've seen it do other things. But that's the first thing I'm grateful for, because there's a lot of people out there, especially doctors and nurses, that knew me when I was in the hospital, that really didn't expect me to walk out of the hospital, and I know that. So I'm very grateful to be alive, number one, and I hope I use the rest of my life in a good, positive way. If not, I've squandered it, and that would be a shame. The second thing I'm grateful for having a wonderful marriage. My second wife, Helen, and I met 9 years ago on the internet, of all places. And there are actually times when people do meet that way and they hit it off. And we actually had only dated 36 days, which is kind of weird, before we got married. And most people would think we were very foolish. But as she pointed out at the time, when you get to be our age, you may not know what you want, but you certainly know what you don't want. And I don't think any truer words could have been spoken for me personally in that year. The last year, just before I met her, I dated a lot of women. Helen was number 29, so nobody can accuse me of not being serious about looking for my soulmate. And most of the dates were, going out to dinner or a movie one time, and there was just no chemistry. And there were a couple of people that we might have gone out several times, but it didn't click when it was all said and done. But it seemed like when Helen and I met, we knew instantly that we were the right people for each other. And since then, we have had a wonderful life. And that's not to say we haven't had some ups and downs. I mean, obviously what I went through physically earlier this year was no bed of roses. But the one nice thing that both of us have is that when we're through working each day and we come home, we know we're not going to have to fight with the person that we're there with. We know that we're going to be with the person that's not only our spouse, but our best friend. And I wish everybody had that type of a situation. Having been married before, I thought that marriage was a pretty good marriage for the most part. And I'm grateful for the fact that when it ended very quickly, very abruptly, and I didn't have to tear myself to pieces trying to decide whether or not getting a divorce was the right thing to do. So I'm grateful that my impression of marriage, having been married twice, is very favorable, but I'm especially grateful to have met Helen, who is truly the love of my life, my soulmate and my best friend, and I hope she and I have many, many years together. The next thing I'm grateful for having two lovely daughters. Jennifer, 27, and Tracy, 26, both still live here in Atlanta. There were times growing up where, we had the reasonable number of father-daughter issues to contend with. But overall, it's been a delightful experience. They're both very pretty, they're both highly intelligent, and they both bring me a great deal of pride. So I'm grateful for that, and they're both very healthy. And you can't really, as a parent, you can't ask much more than that. And I guess probably as a parent, the one thing that means more to me than anything else is they're not just my daughters or my kids. They're my friends, and that means a lot to me. The last thing I'm grateful for is I'm grateful for the fact that I've had what I believe is a good life. And it's been strange. I mean, there's been times when I wasn't sure how I was going to get out of one pickle or another, but every time a problem arose, there was always a solution. And it's helped build character. Somebody said a long time ago, if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. And as hokey as it sounds, that may be true. And the real key, I think, is not to never have problems. We all have problems, but when you do have problems, to be able to overcome them. So I'm very, very grateful for that. But as I said, I'm grateful for where I am right now. I'm grateful for the people around me. But more than anything else, I'm just grateful to be alive. I'd love to hear what you're grateful for. If you care to contact me, we can chat about it. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.